Hey, what's up everybody? Thank you for joining us for our next video. Today we're going to be doing the NAB Challenge, post-NAB Challenge hype team. So these are all the players that did well in the NAB Challenge. All of these guys have pretty high percentages, but we're going to run you through what they did during the 4-round challenge and tell you why you should pick them. So Scott, I think you're going to start us off.
I will, Andy, and the first player I'd like to talk about is Batcha Hooley. He just backed me up with my defender predictions here in the NAB Cup with scores of 116 and 125, with only 85 and 87% time on ground, which is basically what he'll have in a normal game, except there'll be more minutes. But he looked very, very comfortable in the Tigers' backline compared to the last couple of years, and I think now he's a lock to average 90, if not more.
Yeah, I remember, I think it was early this week, talking to a friend about Hooley, and we were going over his scores. Obviously, the first game he played exceptionally well, his first game anyway, where he got 116, but the second score, I believe, is pretty inflated since they had almost 5 to 7 of their best players on the bench. So by the end of the game, it was just Hooley and Ellis kicking it to each other. So obviously, he probably still scored 90 up until that point, but yeah, it's probably a little inflated, but still huge numbers from a defender.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was a little bit inflated, but it's still, like you said, it's still a beast score. So,
Yeah.
Who'd you like to talk about, Andy?
Well, I don't want to talk about Cutler because I don't want other people to pick him.
Well, I can talk about him if you want then.
Okay, you talk about him.
I'll talk about him so everyone can pick him. For his price, I think he did very well in the NAB Cup with scores of 83 from unknown time and 89 from 87% time on ground. He's a massive pod. He doesn't have too much selection. He was under 2% before. Now he's just under 3%, so he hasn't gone up too much since those two good scores. He should generate quite a bit of money, around 100k. I reckon maybe just a tad more, which is what you want if you're going to pick a medium price defender, so you can just basically do a side swap to fallen premium or a premium later in the season. So if you do pick him, just back him in. I don't think there's any worries with him this year.
All right, well, I'll move on to the next player because I'm not commenting on him. Daniel Howe started the NAB Challenge with a huge score of 111 from 72% time on ground, which got him into a lot of fantasy sides. The week after, from extended minutes, he got 69, which was a letdown. He rounded out the NAB Challenge with a 72 from 81% game time. Pretty awkward price, not really a rookie or basement price, and not really an expensive mid price. It's sort of an awkward price, but yeah, we're still not 100% sure if he will play round 1. We know that Hawthorn's playing on Easter Monday, so it's going to be, if he's named on the ground, then I think we'll definitely have to lock him in. But since it's on that Monday, then yeah, we don't actually know if he's going to play or not.
Yeah, and if he's named on the ground, like you said, then I reckon he'll definitely play in that game. If he's named on the bench, in the extended bench, then it's a bit of a worry, and we obviously won't find out till late Saturday afternoon whether he's actually playing or not. But if you're confident that he'll play, then lock him in. He will produce some good scores throughout the start of this year.
Absolutely. Well, I want to take the honours of Dangerfield, talking about him, since I was able to snag him pick 5 in our draft, Scott. And he's also a lock in my classic fantasy side. So Dangerfield, we all know that he's one of the best players in the competition, but in the NAB Challenge he showed why he might be huge not only in real life but also in fantasy this year. So he started off with 105 and 98 the first 2 games, one of them from 66% game time, and he finished off the NAB Challenge with 112. So obviously he was the most informed player in the NAB Challenge, okay? But the argument that's there why you wouldn't pick him is he'll get tagged. Yes, when there's a tagging opposition, he'll get tagged. I admit that, and I think that will limit his scoring. But I did a bit of fixture analysis before picking him at pick 5, and he has a pretty soft run with taggers the first 8 or 9 weeks. It's actually pretty good. I think he only plays one tagging team in the first 8 or 9 weeks. So,
Hmm.
he could really just be on fire those first 9 weeks, and I don't think you can afford not to start with him, Scott.
Yeah, I don't think you can either. That 112 he got from 73% game time, he had 90 at half time.
Yeah,
Like 90 is ridiculous. That's
huge.
Rockcliffe. That's a Rockcliffe score.
Yeah.
He will get tagged, but I think we've gone through this multiple times. He's pretty much untaggable, and he's only going to get better, which is going to make him more untaggable. But yeah, he's going to get massive scores for you this year.
Okay.
Next player to talk about, Sammy Mitchell, 109 from 89% game time and 142 from 93%. He racked up a very lazy 45 possessions on his way to 142 in the last NAB Cup game. He's a very unique option, and he's fairly consistent with his scores as he's shown over previous years. I think he's a great option this year.
Yeah, it's the same thing with Dangerfield, isn't it? Same argument that he'll get tagged out of scoring those massive 140s. But hey, if there were no, can you imagine his scoring if there were no taggers?
Oh, jeez.
He'd be getting Rockcliffe off the throne, maybe close to it anyway.
Yeah, he'd be definitely averaging over 110.
Yeah,
But I don't necessarily agree with you that he'll get tagged as much, because they've got quite a few young and upcoming stars coming through their lists and in their midfield. And so he could get pushed out of being tagged just because of those blokes.
I don't think there's a chance. But anyway, I'll continue with my elite picks with Max Gawn. I got him at pick 12, which I'm fairly happy with. He's also locked in my fantasy classic side. His first 2 NAB games were really nice. 92 from 70% game time against the Spud, who is Lobie, and 86 in his second one. And his selection went up a ton after that. And the last NAB challenge, he was a bit on and off, but still managed 87 from 91% game time, which is all we can expect from him. It will still increase his price a bit. No, it won't. He's averaged 91, isn't it?
Yeah.
Gee, if he does that, I'm going to regret taking him at pick 12. Come on, Gorn. Lift your scoring there.
Nah, he won't get 87 every week. He'll definitely average over what he did last year. I think 87 was just an off game for him, which is likely to happen throughout the season. He's going to have a game where he's not in beast mode.
Yeah, I think he ripped out scores of like 140 last year, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He did it inconsistently, but he still did it. And so if he can just get a little bit more consistent...
Yeah, I'm not asking for too much from Gorn. I'd be happy with a 140 average.
Just a casual 140.
It's just casual.
All right, next player, Michael Barlow. I think he's just a lock and load now. He proved his coach right during the pre-season. He's back to his midfield role, scoring 125, 90 and 93 from all under 80% game time apart from the one. His percentage just keeps rising because people are finally starting to realise how good of a player he is and how much he's going to average this year. And I just think if you don't lock and load him right now, you're in trouble for the start of the season.
I've got him over Dusty Martin this year.
Yeah.
Saves you a bit of coin, and also I think their scoring will be pretty similar, so a definite lock. And I reckon you can talk about the next player on the list, because I don't know too much about him.
All right, well, Alex Fasolo played only the 2 games, but he was on absolute fire. Absolute fire. I watched him on one of the games, and he was literally everywhere, kicking 5 goals, racking up 19 disposals, and took amazing 7 marks, finishing with a solid 113 from 78% game time. And don't you just love that from a player, a snick under 400k. In his second game, he wasn't as fiery, but he still performed excellently, in which he had another 8 marks, tackled another 8 times, and scored 82 from 59% game time. It would be a very risky selection, but if it pays off, then your rank is going to skyrocket, and his price will skyrocket.
Yeah, he really loves being solo in the forward line, that's for sure.
Oh, nice
Connor Menadue is our next player to talk about. Had 59 from 88% game time and 67 from 77% game time, and finished off the NAB challenge with a 49 from 86% game time. Obviously, those scores aren't too impressive, but we saw him fit into their structure for every single game, and the NAB 3 game's normally the closest to round 1, and with the amount of injuries we've already seen from the Tigers this preseason, I think he's an absolute lock for their side in round 1. And if you can sit him on your pine, you'd be completely happy with 59 to 67, anywhere between that range. That'd be fantastic, wouldn't it, Scott?
Yeah, and for a basement price rookie, that's what you kind of expect, and that's what you'd want just for his price to go up, I guess. But I think now he's found himself sitting on my field for my team because of all those injuries. So it'd be very interesting to see his scores get into the 70s, which is what I'd hope for. But we just have to roll with it if he doesn't.
You'd be so happy if he averaged 70 for you on your field, wouldn't you?
Oh, that'd be awesome for a 138k player.
Anyway,
next player, George Hewitt, as well as Vasolo, he only played the 2 games, but his scores of 71 and 67 from 63 and 64% time. We're not 100% sure if he will play round 1 for Sydney, as they already have heaps of midfielders and they don't exactly need him at this stage. But his basement price, and he will definitely get games throughout the season, especially after these performances, and he could be a cheap downgrade target throughout the year.
Yeah, Hewitt, obviously basement price. Actually, yeah, no, I've just looked it up, Scott. I thought you were wrong. And I've confirmed that. Vasolo actually played 3 games.
Did he?
So, yeah, it didn't sound right when you said that. He actually played the 3rd game, 61 from 75% game time.
Oh, I must have missed that one. That doesn't happen
Tactical,
too often.
I think, trying to get some people to jump on the bandwagon.
No, 61. Did you say 61 from 35% game time?
75% game time.
75. Oh, okay. Oops.
Yeah, no, but
that wasn't deliberately done.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Whatever. Well, yeah, no, Hewitt is actually on my field. Kid you not.
Is he actually?
He actually is.
Jeez Louise, that is.
Because I have a pretty strong midfield, and I've got him on the field. Which, I don't know, I'd hope for like a 50 to 60 from him.
Well, you'd have to make sure he's playing if he's on your field at the moment then. You'd have to be pretty confident.
Well, yeah. If he wasn't named,
pointing out the obvious.
If he wasn't named, I'd switch him out for another player at the same price.
Yep. All right. Well, fair enough. Now you have a few quick tips for round 1 before we head off, Andy.
Okay. Well, I'm not too good at this myself, but obviously heading into lockout, the last couple minutes can be the most stressful, daunting time of your life as a fantasy coach. So, back in the research you've done all pre-season, don't go silly in the last couple of minutes. Don't trade in the player you don't even know his last name. Just, my recommendation is lock your team in an hour before lockout and don't even worry about any changes. After you know the teams, which you should know tonight and tomorrow night, don't even look at your team the last hour of lockout. That's going to be what I do this year, and I don't know, see how actually probably won't even do that, but I'm trying to do it.
Well, I'm not going to leave it to the last hour. I'm just going to, from today, I'm just going to leave my Richmond and Carlton players just locked in, and then I won't touch my whole team from Friday night onwards. Just so I don't do anything stupid like Warney did last year, bringing Ablett because he looked good in the warm-up. You don't want to do something like that and then have someone scoring 60 just because you think they look good. But make sure you lock in your Richmond and Carlton players before tomorrow night, because after tomorrow night, obviously they're playing, so they will be locked out. But all your other players aren't locked out, so you can still chop and change them before Saturday, but try not to change it too much.
Sounds good. Good advice, Scott. Well, thank you guys very much for watching our post-NAB Challenge team. From here on in, you'll have weekly videos showing you how we did with our fantasy sides. So we're preparing for a massive season, and we'll see you guys next week. Take care.
Take care, guys.